and the hallowed halls, it's Professor Chicken Johnny. No, I'm on. I should be. I'm not on?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on. So who's here? Jan, hello. MB Heritage Farms, hello. Who else is here? Keto Homestead with Jess, welcome. Micro Farmer. Hey, Micro Farmer, I have spent the last several days watching Dave Allen, and I don't see it, but maybe this will help. Mother Goose is here. Welcome. And let's see, who else is here? I guess I got everybody so far.
Crazy Family Homestead.
Crazy Family Homestead is here. Oh, there you are. Welcome. So I'm going to take a page out of John over at Willet Grow. I'm going to take a page out of his playbook. What's everybody drinking tonight? I got some orange Kool-Aid. If any of you saw the last video by Haas Tools, he says he's drinking the Kool-Aid. Well, I drank the Kool-Aid. So Jan's drinking wine. That's what my wife would be drinking if she wanted to. Hey, Jules, how are you? And Mother Goose is drinking Diet Pepsi. Micro Farmer's got a Bud. And Voon Child is here. Thank you for coming. We're going to wait a few minutes to really get into the heart of this thing. I don't have anything really completely planned out tonight. I think last week I got into a subject that I enjoy and I just sort of got consumed by it. So, but
Crazy Family Homestead's on.
Yeah, I said hi to them. Oh, Modell. Very good, Crazy Family Homestead. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat a little bit more tonight than I have in the past, so forgive me for that. It's kind of hard to keep up with all of that. Good.
I have 10 watching.
You know, we got 10 people out there and 5 thumbs up. So what are we waiting for? You all know it's going to be good. Just go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Yeah. Jules, I marvel at how you have been able to keep up with the chats, and sometimes you just leave them go. I understand that too. But it's a bit of a challenge. I tried to download StreamYard, and for some reason I haven't been able to get that to seem like it's going to work right. So I got to get one of the youngins to come take a look at it and see if they can get it put together. Yeah, Micro Farmer had a good live tonight with Simply Jan Southern Living. Gail, Simply Jan. I won so much for sending her a chicken that now I got Simply Jan on the mind. So yeah, lots of fun over at Gail's Southern Living with Micro Farmer. And while we're here, this coming Thursday, I just want to give a plug for Micro Farmers Live with Voon. I believe that's what it is. I don't remember what time that is. I think it was maybe 6 o'clock. So if somebody knows what time that is, put it on. If it's 6, I probably won't be able to make it, but we'll try.
Fritz Preacher Farm.
Oh, Fitz Preacher Farm. Thank you for coming out.
Walsh Farms.
Tony, Walsh Farms, welcome. Thank you for coming out. So it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and say a couple of things here, and then hopefully we can get a little conversation going back and forth about organics and organic farming. So if you all watched the organic farming video, one of the things that I was really concerned about, I didn't want to present any information in a way that it would offend somebody who's maybe made a comment on an earlier video. And I was really talking more about not so much the techniques of organic farming or the idea of organic farming, but the idea that a person would spend an extra, couple of dozen dollars to eat organic from their garden, but then buy processed, Stouffer's type meals from the grocery store. Now, I honestly don't mind so much processed food. I like a Genio turkey from time to time. I'll eat processed food. And I think a lot of people do. And then they when they go to garden, they use that as a reason not to garden. They say, well, I want to be completely organic. And they set up some things that are very difficult. Most organic farms actually start as a conventional farm, and then they move more and more towards organic practices. What we did, we kind of started out our very first year, we tried to be organic, and it didn't work. We were able to keep the weeds out. I don't really think that herbicides are the issue, although I do use a grass killer because we've got some pretty big problems with crabgrass and some of the other grasses. Bluegrass creeps in a lot. You get the rhizomes and so forth. They're very difficult to get out. But my comments and my reason for making the video is I want people to be realistic about what they're doing. If you're being organic and yet only in your gardening, or you're buying organic food at the grocery store, but then you're eating out at fast food or something, it's a big contradiction. I just wanted to sort of point that out, make us all feel better about ourselves, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, Jules, organic is harder than using synthetic inputs. But if it was just for the difficulty, I think I'd do it. It's the expense that's the problem. And we start setting up things. If I were to try to, first of all, the horse manure that I use is not certified organic. So that's my biggest organic input, would keep me from being certified, because it comes from a farm that doesn't certify their grass as untreated and as organic. And so, that's the problem I have, I guess, kind of with the Back to Eden gardens. They talk about, Steve Toonstra is here. Welcome. Thank you for coming by. in the Back to Eden garden, and I have to confess, it's been about 8 years since I've watched the original video. It's more the people who are using the Back to Eden method. You know, if you're just getting wood chips from an arborist, are those actually pesticide-free wood chips that you're getting? We buy our compost from a landscape facility. They've actually got the big machines that turn the compost and everything, so it's really well done. But is it organic? No, I don't think so, because they're just using grass clippings and leaves that come from trees and grass around. So, and Jan, you're correct. A smaller garden is going to have an easier time, especially getting away from pesticides and synthetic fertilizer. But I think the same kind of applies. Jeff Turs is in the house. Hello, chickenettes. Well, okay. Jeff and I were actually talking today about organics, and he said that he agreed with some of the things that we were talking about. But it seems like, and I liked Hoss Tool's analogy of the Kool-Aid and drinking the Kool-Aid, because I think that's kind of what it is sometimes. People hear a philosophy and they sort of grab onto it, but they don't really completely understand what's going on, maybe behind the scenes. Jason writes, I really don't like the term Back to Eden gardening. Most folks that watch that video don't know what Paul is really doing with his annual garden versus his orchard, and it's not one universal method. Jason, the other thing is, a lot of people conflict or conflate the Back to Eden method with yard sheeting. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that the original video on Back to Eden, I don't believe he talked about sheeting. And I think you have to be careful if you're going to sheet your garden, because cardboard is going to have glues in it, and it's going to have other things. Newspaper, likely. Now, I think the newer newspaper, maybe it's okay as long as it's just the black and white. But if you use color images, they're going to have chemicals in them. So Steve Toonstra asks, how much would the organic certification cost if you wanted to pursue it? I would think it would be pricey. I watched that Hoss Tools video also. So yeah, the Hoss Tools video was good. If you haven't checked that out, do it. Tell them Chicken Johnny sent you or whatever. But Steve, I don't know the exact costs anymore. I know it was several $100s for the initial going through the initial setup. And then I think there is a yearly expense also. But the biggest thing to me was you can't have any treated wood on your farm. So if any of your buildings have treated lumber, anything like that, they don't want that. Now, I'm told that it depends on the area that you're in, the people who are doing the review. But if I had to get rid of all the treated wood in my barns, I'd go broke starting over again. So it isn't just the certificate costs, it's all of it. Holland Harry on the Prairie, welcome. Saw another comment, I thought. Gee. Yeah, so Jason's mentioning about the cardboard. It's interesting. One of the things I was going to mention in my video, and I actually edited it out because I felt it maybe was a little bit too bold. But if you look at the paper pot transplanter, the paper pot chains, They are, for about the first 4 years that they were in this country, they're made in Japan, and actually you can get a Chinese knockoff. But the paper pot transplanters were originally, NOAA did not certify them because the glue didn't meet the requirements. So then all of a sudden, they didn't change the glue. NOAA just changed their findings. So I'm not sure why.
Jules has got a good question. Answer
it. Jules asks, did I ever think about growing flowers? I think about it all the time, but I've never really pursued it. I had a friend, Norman, that was kind of his niche at the farmers markets. He would grow a lot of flowers, and then he had it set up so that people could come up and he'd have it set up so that you come and make a bouquet. And I don't remember if you paid. I don't think you paid by the pound. I think you just could go put together a bouquet and whatever you could fit in the vase. He did okay with it, but he quit doing it, so it couldn't have been that great. We grew, what did we grow? What were the flowers?
Gladiolas.
We grew gladiolas, and I think they would be great to bring in. So we in this climate, we have to dig up the gladiola bulbs and then rebury them in the spring. And so we're growing our numbers of gladiolas, and I think we'll be able to bring those to the market eventually. It's actually, it's better than the vegetables, really. You do a little bit better dollar-wise with them.
Jan's going to grow squash in a tire.
The rubber tire growing. Yeah. I was watching a video, and the guy was talking about all these organic inputs, and then he said, to keep the rubber tires out of the landfills, I cut them in half and I grow out of them. And I don't know, it was something when I was a kid, my dad used to say, you can grow flowers out of them, but you can't grow vegetables. And I haven't really done a lot of research on that. It just kind of makes sense that you can't use something that is a petroleum product and is going to leach chemicals out. So yeah, that's a chance I wouldn't want to take. Yeah, Jules, the margin on flowers is great, but you really have to know what you're doing with the flowers, because they go bad, on a hot day at the market. They're not going to stay all that well. That was for you, MB. How heavy was the heaviest chicken we ever raised? I don't know. We had a rooster that we used to call Uno, the karate kicking chicken. He was probably the biggest chicken we ever had. And one day I was getting ready to go. I was going to go talk at a camp meeting up in Iowa. And I went down to take care of the chickens before I left. And this rooster jumped up, kicked me in the back of the knee, and just put me to the ground. And about 2 weeks later, Sunday morning, we're getting ready to go to church, and I was in a suit and tie. I don't know why I was down in the chicken coop, but that rooster jumped up.
Because I was afraid of him.
Knocked me down. Oh, yeah, Sandy says, well, she was afraid of the rooster, so she wouldn't go in there. But I actually had the feed scoop in my hand, and just out of a natural reaction, I flipped back and hit that chicken in the head, and it died. So, Crazed Family Homestead, do you have moderators? I don't. I'm not sure how can you do that on YouTube? I'm not really sure how. Would you like to be a moderator? Now I see the 3 dots. So all right. There we go. Anybody else want to put, and Grace Family Homestead, please put anybody's page up. So I think I made you a moderator, Grace Family Homestead. I don't know if that worked or not. Oh, bear with me for a second here. So there we go. Voon, I'm going to let you have this live without being a moderator. You're everybody's moderator, so I'm just going to leave it be. But, oh, that's what the blue wrench means. I've been watching these lives for a long time, wondering what that blue wrench meant. Now I understand. So
Jan says, I'm a rubber chicken owner.
Jan, John at Willet Grow was saying that there's probably 10 in the Shed Wars group. There's probably 10 rubber chickens. Now I know the 2 that I have and the one that Jan has, and then John has one. I don't know who else has got rubber chickens. So Micro Farmer gave away a lot of seeds. I won some tomato seeds over there, and I'm looking forward to planting them. I'm going to plant them in the hoop house and see how they go. Holland Harry on the Prairie says he learns something new every day. I've gotten to the point in my regular job where I hate learning new things because it's just so expensive. But in the farm, I enjoy learning new things, as long as it's not what can break on a tractor or what can get stuck in a spinning tool. I've had a few of those. Jan, you got to keep the rubber chicken away from the dogs. That's why their mouths are so wide open, because they're afraid of the dog. Yeah, I think probably many people do know each other in here. So Grace Family Homestead, just look out for those trolls. I would check Jason Avers. I think he might be a troll. So I think one of the strongest points that I made in the video, and something that I think we really need to concern ourselves with, is the fact that there really, if we did try to go completely organic, we just don't have the inputs. So organic, and this is kind of the thing I want to stress, as far as commercial farming is going, organic as it is today is not an answer. No-till doesn't work everywhere. And I know that isn't popular amongst gardeners, but if you have a highly fertile muck soil, so you've got a lot of organic material in a silty loam soil, you get a little bit of rain, and pretty soon, if you don't subsoil, if you don't plow, you're going to have problems. The ground is going to be too compacted. I was talking to Jeff Tours today. We were talking about plow pan, and the rototiller really puts a plow pan in. So if you do a lot of rototilling and you don't get out in subsoil, you're going to create a barrier, and your plants aren't going to be able to penetrate beyond it. Now, that might be fine for things like cabbage that kind of root shallow, but things like tomatoes that want to try and get their roots down deep, that plow pan's going to get in the way and cause problems. So having some kind of a mixture of philosophies is important. Jacob's allotment said, I never understood how a seed could be not organic. And I agree. This is kind of the bigger picture, is that we're taking this term organic, and if you use the term organic in chemistry, it simply means it doesn't have, it's something that has carbon in it. If it's not organic, it doesn't have carbon. Well, that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about when we talk about organic seeds and that kind of thing.
Mary's Ranch and Wild Cooking is in the house.
Yeah, MB Heritage says there doesn't seem to be any studies that have analyzed vegetables grown in tires, so all we can do is make an educated guess. I agree with that. I would, however, give you this caveat. If you're going to grow in a rubber tire, please do not tell me you're organic. You, as I said, even in the video, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it'll kill you. But the potential for chemicals to leach from that tire, not just from the petrochemicals from the manufacturing of the rubber, but if it was a farm tractor tire, it could have easily at one time had glycol in it. And so that's something to be concerned about. Yeah, Jason, you're right. You're right. If it was living at one time, it was organic. And if it wasn't living, it was inorganic. You're correct on that. I misstated that when I said it had carbon in it.
Okay, we've got a few that showed up. The Tin Can Gardener.
Tin Can Gardener's in the house. Welcome. Mary's Ranch is in the house. And Twin Brook Acres, welcome. Keto Homestead with Jess. I think you were here earlier, and I said hi, but if I didn't, I apologize. Yeah, like I say, I don't really know what the real actions are in a rubber tire, but I just assume. Yeah, Hickory Croft Farms just mentioned that the certification rules vary from location to location. Australia, I think, has the most defined regulations as far as their entire nation is concerned. In the United States and Canada, I believe, too. I think Canada, it's kind of province to province. But in the United States, one state to another state, it can vary greatly. And one county within the state can vary greatly. They can add rules that are very different. And, it's individuals, it's peer review, and they can come up with some very different regulations. Lori's World, welcome.
Jason's got a good point.
Yeah, Jason, you've got an excellent point. Your telephone poles and railroad ties, they're covered in creosote. So probably not the best. Yeah, and if they were actual railroad ties, not only is there creosote on them, but there's going to be all kinds of fuel runoff from the trains, oil, grease, all kinds of crazy additional things. When I mentioned the galvanized cans, I don't know if people really realize that those cans, they should all, I mean, there should be some kind of a public announcement about it, because there's lead in those cans, and we can't even buy, I can still buy galvanized plumbing pipe, but it is not legal even to repair galvanized plumbing pipe. Whatever section you're repairing, you're supposed to swap that out and use either PEX tubing, or here we actually have to use copper. But, and copper's not, I mean, we now have lead-free copper and lead-free brass and lead-free fittings and all of that, but I would think copper would still leach over a period of time. So I don't know. Yeah, Jackos, I know that I didn't realize the UK did that as well, but I know that there are many places where garden centers aren't allowed to sell railroad ties. Homestead Aquarius, number 13 out of 20. Okay. Yeah, Twin Brook Farms, I agree. The move now is more towards PEX tubing and CPVC. I don't like CPVC, and I don't really like PEX tubing either. We were taught to run everything straight and even. It's hard to do that with PEX tubing, especially once you go to PEX tubing, they want you to be really fast, and so you can't take the time to make things straight like you used to. Hickory Croft is saying railway ties, she's pretty certain can't be sold in Ontario. Yeah, and treated lumber isn't as bad as it used to be. They used to use copper and formaldehyde, and now they've got a different process. So I haven't heard anything about that. I don't know that you can use treated lumber now. That's the new treated, but
Jan's shooting people.
Jan, am I going to have to? What does John say? Am I going to have to? I don't know.
Jan just had to shoot a warning shot off. Somebody drove on her property.
Oh, well, that you can do. Somebody comes on the property. That's what guns are for. So, lost chicken Johnny. Oh, that's not good.
Hickory Croft Farm wrote something about new treated.
The new treated lumber's a lot better. Yeah. I know they no longer put the arsenic in it, and that was a big deal. Arsenic and formaldehyde is what they used to be. I think I said copper. I meant arsenic, but. Jan lost the connection. We're here, Jan. We see you. Jason is saying that concrete raises pH, but it does drop over time. Yeah, I wouldn't think that a concrete block would have a big effect on. You'll get some effervescence on the inside and on the outside of calcium, but I don't know that it would be too terrible. Yeah, Jayco's allotment. I've got a few of those fence panels around. Yeah, Mother Goose is insulting me. That's okay.
Jan just wanted to know if she could stop talking.
Jan shot her satellite. Uh-oh. Oh. Better than the big box organics. See, that's the other thing. Now, I'm not going to name names, but I've known a lot of people who've worked at grocery stores over, the course of time. And when they have a big bag of apples and they have one or two that's gone bad in there, they open up that bag and they sell them as singles. And so I always wonder, do they put the organic singles in the organic single pile, or do they put the non-organics in there? How would you know? So just not sure.
What's linseed oil?
Linseed oil. I think linseed oil should be okay. Where's the comment?
From the Tin Can Gardener. Arkansas woodcutters in the house.
Yeah, linseed oil should be fine. I wouldn't imagine that would cause any deterioration. The other thing is, Arkansas woodcutters here. Mark, welcome. There's a technique where you take raw pine, and I suppose it works with anything, but you burn it, and the carbon that causes is a really good deterrent to rot. And then I think what they do is they burn it and wipe off the loose, and then they put linseed oil over the top of it. And I believe, you'd have to check that, but I believe that's, I know it should be perfectly fine because linseed oil isn't a bad thing, but I don't know if it would meet certification. So.
Hickory Croft Farms has a good one.
Yeah. Hickory Croft Farms is mentioning the food traceability. Do you know where the expression "a pig in a poke" came from? So, yeah, Jan is making a good comment. You get a lot of crossover from the organic and the non-organic and so forth. The expression "a pig in a poke" comes from when they would sell pigs, and because piglets are really energetic, they put the pig in a bag, and the pig would move around and everything, and then they'd sell that pig to the customer. They'd bring it home and they'd open it up, and it was actually a cat in the bag. And if you've ever lived on a farm, you understand why a cat wouldn't be as valuable to you as a pig. In fact, anyway. Yeah, Jason is mentioning there's charcoal in the soil in certain places in the Amazon that is thousands of years old and still hasn't decomposed. All of the traces of civilization that put it there are gone. Yeah, I've read a lot. Some of that is, they talk about biochar too. They talk about finding biochar in areas where the ground is extremely improved, and that biochar is extremely old as well. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but you're never too late. All right. Yeah, that is the origin of a pig in a poke. They'd sell you an old chicken or a cat and sell it to you as if it was a pig. So yeah, Arkansas Woodcutter is referring to organic compost as a biochar of sorts, and I suppose that's correct. I've not really thought that through, but I suppose that is.
You got a new person.
Y'all and Hoppin Hilltop Farms, welcome. I don't think I've seen you before. I'm trying to look at your logo there, your icon. I don't think I've seen you before. Welcome. Hit all the buttons and say hi to everybody. Yeah, poke salad. Yeah.
Homestead Aquarius has a question.
Homestead Aquarius, I'm reading your question, and yeah, I'm not sure if I understand exactly what you're getting after, and so no, I'm not sure that I have heard anything on that. Are you talking about like the communal gardening? Well, Jacob's allotment, that's exactly correct. Oops, I let the cat out of the bag. That's a part of that whole pig in a poke. Yep. So the video seemed to be fairly well received. I got a lot of nice comments on it, which I appreciate. A couple of people didn't call me out, but they mentioned some things where they differed, and I think that's fine. Most of what I shared in that video really was more my take on things and my opinion about things than it was. I wasn't trying to lay down hard facts or call anybody out or set a new set of rules. I just think we shouldn't get too carried away with some of the organic movement. Some of the details of it are just a little bit out of the box, a little bit far. Hey, micro farmer, do me a favor and write the name of your book down again. I didn't know you had written a book until today. And so if you put the name of your book down and people can get it, I think you said they can get it at Amazon. So
All right, you just put it down.
Homestead Aquarius, I actually, now that you're restating that a little bit, I haven't heard much about it, but my son gave me a couple of videos, and I'm going to take it a little bit more seriously and look at it a little bit more, but I don't know too much about it. Yeah, Hickory Croft. Some of it is just it's getting picky with semantics, and I think most. Well, how do I say it? I think most people who are just gardening in their home, when they say I'm organic, what they mean is that they don't spray with a lot of chemicals, and they don't use commercial fertilizer. They use organic fertilizer. And the fact, when I say I'm not organic, to my knowledge, and I, other than all of the paperwork that's involved in organic farming and all of the inspections, I'm organic, except for the fact that I use imidacloprid as an insecticide, which is a derivative of nicotine. And what they've done is they've taken the portion of nicotine that's poisonous, and they've taken that out, poisonous to humans. They've taken that out, and the rest of it they've left in, so it's effective on insects. Will It Grow is in the house. Hi, John.
So is Gail.
Gail Southern Living is in the house. We were talking about you earlier and the good live that you had.
Flavors and textures.
So, and Flavors and Textures. Welcome. Hey, I don't know if any of you know, I'm trying to think of her name, Rose's Way. It's a website or a YouTube channel, Rose's Way. She posted a really neat video. She used some kind of app to put her face on various different actors, and it really came out pretty sharp. She's got her as John Travolta in the movie where I forget what it's called, but he ends up shooting somebody in the back seat of the car. It's kind of graphic, but
it's Rosie's Way.
Rosie's Way. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to go ahead and look at that, I don't even know. She's made a comment on my page, and I went to look to see to make sure that I was subscribed to her page and given her some support as well. And when I went over there, started watching videos, and she had some pretty neat videos on there. So,
we had a question going up from Jason. Well, let's see.
Did I missed one?
Jason, I don't use any chemicals on my allotment.
Yeah, I think Hickory Croft. I agree that the semantics of you're not certified organic is a whole different thing than what most backyard gardeners think. The problem that I run into is when I'm selling at the stand, and people say, "Well, is this organic?" And I want to say yes, it's organic, but I'm prohibited by law. Now, I'm not afraid that the food police are going to show up and give me a ticket. I guess in a way I should be concerned that some other market farmer might be, challenging me, calling me out a little bit. But the real reason is because I just tend to be an honest person, and I don't want to say something deceiving. So I can't tell people, yeah, that's organic, even though it is pretty much what you're thinking of as organic. And I certainly wouldn't flaunt chemicals. You don't use chemicals that you don't need. The key, though, I think, is use them. If you're going to use 7 dust or 7 liquid, use enough of it. Use it according to the label. Otherwise, you're going to create bigger problems.
Flavors and Textures has a question.
No, Flavors and Textures asks, will it be a problem if you say that you use organic practices, but you're not certified organic yet? No, that's not a problem. And the problem is, and when you say something along that line, people generally will listen to you, and actually most people are okay with it. They want to know, and then they're okay with it. But there are just a few who will kind of leave with a huff. So, and I guess that's fine. I don't really want customers who are going to be hard to deal with anyway. But
Got another Payford
Oh,
Homestead.
Pafford Homestead is here. How are you? And let's see.
Be careful. Be careful tonight.
Next, my next video, at least the way that I'm planning to do it, my next video is I'm going to talk about genetically modified organisms and genetically modified plants in particular. Yeah, I caught Will It Grow said, I say I grew it, just eat it. That's a good way to go. So what's the answer? I really didn't give an answer in that video. I would say this, and John, you really did hit on it. Y'allins Hoppin' Hilltop, thanks for coming by, and we'll see you on the next one. One of the things that if I were buying produce at the market, Conrad, welcome. If I were buying produce, I would want to talk to the person who grew it. I'd want to talk to the farmer if I was buying at a farm stand. And if the person hadn't grown it, they said something like, "Oh, well, we have a friend who grows it." If there's someone that's working for the grower, maybe that's fine. But we have a lot of people in our area who will go to the market and they'll buy things from the market and then they'll sell them as if they had grown them. And that bothers me a lot. Now, if they just come and they've got produce and they're selling produce and you don't ask, well, I guess that's fine. But I think the idea of a farmer's market is that you're selling what you grew. And most of the farmers markets around here require that not only do you have to certify that you grew it, but you need you need to even give them your address of your field where you grew the stuff. So
Homestead Aquarius asked a question.
Homestead Aquarius asked a question.
Organic has become as misleading. It's up a little bit.
Yeah, I remember reading somewhere where free range simply meant that a chicken had the option to go outside, and that was free range. And so they had some photographs of chicken coops that were made with like a 4 foot by 4 foot fenced in area and 80 chickens or 8,000 chickens. And that was considered free range. We let our chickens free range pretty much everywhere. We try to keep the geese penned in because they're mean. They're not mean to me, but they might bite Mother Goose, and if somebody bites Mother Goose, they got to deal with me. So I've had some pretty good run-ins with my geese. We've had them for 15 years. So, Jan, are you saying that the Amish will buy food and resell it? Because that's not good, because they stand for something. But I suppose it might be. Oh, I fell way behind.
Micro Farmer
Yep.
asked you a question.
Yeah. Micro Farmer's talking smack to me, but I'm not quite following him. Walmart. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you're buying stuff at Walmart, repackaging it for sale, you should probably do jail time. John, you come on my live, and there's a lot of nice people that want to talk and get along, and they even like to get along with you because they know that you and I are kindred spirits, and so they feel the good harmony when we got the kids here. And hey, John, as long as you're here, you had mentioned on a live once that you know of at least like 10 people who had bought chickens, and I was, the rubber chickens, and I was wondering who are they? I know Jan's got one, you've got one, and I've got a few. Who's got them? What?
John wrote, "Holy moly, I said something you all agree with me for once."
We always agree with Will It Grow. We just give you a hard time. Yeah, that's right. Gray's Family Homestead is mentioning that Jan had a little wine at the beginning, so. Jan, I'm not touching that. Wow. You're selling pies that they didn't.
Ooh, Jan's all in capital letters now.
Jan, quit yelling. Uh-oh.
Here comes the capitals and the pointing the fingers.
Oh, is not. Okay. Homestead, you had me concerned with what you were saying there. Uh-oh. Jan, just a little never drunk. Okay. Yeah. Homestead, you're right. She can be a cobra from time to time. Okay, Jan, we'll let you type in capitals. Micro farmers now yelling.
John's being good tonight.
John's being good because Jan's ganging up on him.
Got 2 minutes.
Well, I'm gonna.
Got 2 minutes.
The big clock on the wall says I gotta close this down here pretty soon. Is there anybody else coming on after this that anybody knows about so we can kind of advertise their page? Uh-oh, no, it's chicken choking tonight with Will It Grow, so. Yeah. Flavors and textures. Here they go. Yeah, who's on deck for the next live? Yeah, Jan, you do a pretty good job of keeping John in line. I'm looking forward to this summer. I got a lot. I'm holding back on my trash talk. I got plenty. We just got to see whose team I'm on to see who gets destroyed and who doesn't. I looking forward to some of them gladiator challenges so we can see who's putting in the time. You know, before I turn it off here and say goodnight, I really appreciate all the videos that people put up. I've been watching quite a few of them, and um, they're uh-oh, Arkansas woodcutter just says, I hope John picks you, Chicken Johnny. Well, I don't know. I hope you fight over me.
All right. Simply Jan did a shout out for a tribute to Moon.
Yeah, so yeah, let's not forget Thursday night, 6 o'clock, tribute to Voon Child, the what we call her, the worker bee of Shed Wars. She, well, John and Arkansas Woodcutter and Homestead Aquarius, you guys put in a lot of hours and do a lot of work, but and we appreciate that. I don't know if I've ever said that. I really do appreciate the time and the effort and all of the organic BS that you put up with. But that Jan, is that Eastern time? Central time. Okay.
Thank you.
But I want to say thank you to everybody, and Voon and Jan and all the other moderators. Really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to next week. You'll have a blessed evening.
I might not be in the background.
And a great day tomorrow. Going to see the doctor tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, Arkansas, I got an idea, and I surely wouldn't want to be a team captain. So, good night, y'all. Say good night, Mother Goose.
Night, guys.
Good night.